What does it take to excel in the arts, sports or science? Besides discipline and hard work, perhaps it's also having the right opportunities. Just ask a 16-year-old traditional Indian music artist Nishanta Anand. The Year 4 student in the only Veena player in the School of the Arts and was awarded the David Marshall Scholarship for Young Artists recently. The scholarship covers her school fees and book allowance, and she says without her arts education, she probably would have stopped playing the stringed instrument altogether. She picked up the instrument at the age of 6, and in June the budding artist took part in the National Indian Music Competition, where she placed third in the intermediate category.
It isn't mundane because the environment that I'm in really it urges for me to think forward and to think differently. So I think that's why I haven't stopped playing, and I'm still playing. One thing I wish to do in the near future is to educate other people on the links and the connections between traditional music and contemporary culture, because a lot of people, they see arts as something that they can move forward to, but they kind of forget what they have had left behind.
The scholarship is one of SOTA's many programs that draw on the David Marshall Endowment Fund, which is one of 5 endowments overseen by the Temasek Education Foundation. Set up in 2010, the foundation supports education opportunities, particularly to develop the next generation of pioneers and leaders. The 5 endowments total $150 million. $35 million goes to the EU Barker Endowment, which benefits the Singapore Sports School. The same amount goes to the Tay Eng Soon Endowment, benefiting the NUS High School of Mathematics and Science. Another endowment for programs focused on music sees $20 million going to the Singapore Symphony Orchestra and $15 million to the Singapore Chinese Orchestra. $10 million from the TEF Sunburst Scholarship goes to individual scholarship recipients. And finally, the David Marshall Endowment receives $35 million, which benefits the School of the Arts, or SOTA, and is the school that decides how the funds are used. So while SOTA has programs for all its students, it has specific ones for selected top students, which it says helps them take that extra step to excel.
If you look at most of our other funding is about covering operational costs. So we run showcases, which are great. We bring in workshops and so on. But if you're looking at the ability to go off and run send students abroad and run programs abroad, it's an added bonus. What the Temasek Education Fund helps us do is create a culture for artistry. We obviously have certain programs which are about excellence, and so we look at certain percentages of students and so on. But from that we see that it distributes the concepts of excellence among the students.
One such program that taps the funding is the Artistic Excellence Program. It currently caters to the top 10% of SOTA students at the Year 3 level and above, like 17-year-old Natasha Boone. The Year 5 student has been dancing since she was 3. As part of the program, Natasha was selected to attend dance immersion programs in Australia and New Zealand. She was even offered a spot in the prestigious New Zealand School of Dance to study full-time in its vocational program. SOTA says it plans to extend the Artistic Excellence Program to the top 20% of students next year.
These experiences have only reaffirmed my decision to join this industry. When I'm here in Singapore, I think I've learned a lot, but actually that's not the case. There's still so much more to learn when you actually go out into the industry. Because of the different opportunities I have, this has helped me influence my decision to become maybe a freelance artist and travel a lot in the future. I can work towards a singular goal this time instead of being so broad, unfocused in what I want to do.
But what about those who have an interest in science, like 31-year-old Dr. Pek Jun Wei? As an undergraduate, Dr. Peck signed up for a summer internship at the Temasek Life Sciences Laboratory in 2006. A stint, he says, piqued his interest in scientific research. He later went on to graduate from the laboratory's PhD program.
Internship experience gave me a really great first impression of research in the laboratory, because in the university, although we are exposed to laboratory work, it was more like learning new skills, and we are not taught to actually do something which to answer a question which nobody else in the world knows the answer. Yeah, so the most important thing is actually, I think that is the internship program actually sparked my curiosity.
More than 100 of them are graduates of the organization's PhD program since 2002, with about half continuing to pursue careers in the area of life sciences in Singapore.
In a way, it prepares the graduate students to, after the training, assume leadership positions either in industry or in research itself or in academia. And in a way, it also helps them to give back to society what they have become in terms of actual experimentation and research.
Dr. Peck has recently returned from his postgraduate in the United States to start his own laboratory researching unexplored parts of the human genome. If successful, it could mean understanding diseases like cancer and muscular dystrophy better, and possibly even finding treatments for them.
I would say I'm very fortunate because I've been mentored by great scientists all along my career. My mentor, besides training me in technical skills, he also taught me about the soft skills that we need to have in the lab. For example, how we interact with our fellow colleagues. And then to have an open mind, I hope that in the future, my lab will be a place where we develop people. And I hope I can cultivate these type of values in my lab.
And it's hoped that there will be more young people like Dr. Peck who not only can be nurtured from a young age but eventually pay it forward to groom the next generation of young scientists. Have you ever heard of a writing marathon? Seems strange but interesting. The Belgian author Nicolas Ancion will write and publish a novel online within 24 hours during his visit to Vietnam, the only country in Asia that was chosen for his challenge. Ancion first accomplished his feat in Brussels in 2010 and in New York last year, finishing a book in 24 hours without any rest or sleep. This time in Vietnam, Ancion writes for an uninterrupted 12 hours in Hanoi and 12 hours in HCM City. His work, written in French, will be immediately translated into Vietnamese and published online. He said during 24 hours of writing, he still communicates with readers. It helps him to avoid loneliness while writing non-stop and receive readers' feedback, which he may act on or go against to create surprises. This is the first time that Vietnamese readers have a chance to follow the writing process of a writer. Nicolas Ancion gave his reason on why he has chosen Vietnam. He said it is because he planned to write 5 books within 24 hours each in 5 different continents. Vietnam comes to his mind first when he thinks of Asia. This is his second time in Vietnam. The country has made a deep impression on him. Born in 1971, Ancion was awarded the International Prize for Young Authors in 1989 and 1991 as a short story writer. He says his stories only come to him when he starts writing. Nicolas is a contemporary artist in Belgium and France. His marathon writing is becoming popular with European readers. Writing that way is something challenging. It requires a great imagination. Nicolas's online writing marathon, though unfamiliar, changed people's traditional thoughts about writing. Malaysian-owned shipbuilder K Marine Private Limited is optimistic in penetrating further the international market through its project of building 2 boats worth 7.5 million ringgit, which have been ordered by the Australian government to be used on Christmas Islands. The boat has attracted the attention of the Australian Infrastructure and Regional Development Department, which intends to use it in the island where 40% of its residents are Indonesian Malays. Prior to this, the company received orders from various international sources like the Mauritius Coast Guard, Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority and Seaworks Construction Limited. K Marine, one of the Terengganu-based boat-making companies that has penetrated the international market, had since 2000 won 5 international tenders in Australia, Nigeria and Mauritius. Its chairman, Wan Muhammad Al-Bakri Muhammad Noor, said the company won the contracts for their latest 2 aluminium barges from the Australian government after defeating 10 bidders, including from Australia. He added the company started the 8-month project in January last year and managed to complete the work a month in advance. This 10.8-meter long boat, which uses American engine technology, travels at a speed of 11 nautical miles per hour. It is capable of transporting passengers from the ship, towboat, and also transferring containers from ships to islands in the country. The barge, called Barani and Pechaya, can tug up to 8-ton pollard pull and capable of loading up to 30 tons of deck cargo. The barges can cruise in shallow water at a depth of 1.3 meters. Wan Muhammad Al-Bakri Mat Noor, chairman K Marine Private Limited Malaysia, said the boat is to be used to push or tow other ships because in Christmas Island the water is shallow, so big boats and big ships cannot berth. This boat is able to perform such tasks. Since its operation in 1992, K Marine has been making boats for various government departments in the country, including the police and fire and rescue department. K Marine is looking forward to expand its international outreach by bidding for more vessel-making tender in the future. Elephant mahouts in Trang province took their jumbos for early medical checkup due to growing concerns of efforts of drought on the Pachadoms. Elephants from 6 districts of Trang were brought to a veterinarian office after the elephants have shown their temper and anxiety caused by the heat and lack of water. Since December, the mahout said they were struggling to secure water sources for the elephants, which provided animal labor and tourism services such as skill show and trekking. Many of the elephant owners rely on tourist attraction and tour operators for food and shelter to guarantee sufficient income and the animals' wellness. Water reserves have been made available for the upcoming dry season. Head of Trang Mahouts Association, Suchat Buakat, said drought seemed to arrive much earlier than any other year, causing stress among the elephants.